So we shall continue where we want to talk about change management. Yeah, when you hear the word change, it means something that was not being done before, but the management decides to bring it on board. And it's human nature that people are normally very resistant to change. Okay, so what is change management? Yeah, so we define it as a method and manners in which a company describes and implements changes within both its internal and external processes. Yeah, so it is meant to develop a structured approach to change in order to help ensure a beneficial transition while mitigating a disruption. So change management is a way through which an organization is able to implement certain policies or certain processes, either internally or externally. Okay, now for example, what kind of a change are we talking about? Okay, maybe you'd find yourself, why we are teaching you this is because you might find yourself as a supervisor and you have certain roles that you need to put in place. You have to bring in certain changes. Yeah, maybe this depends with how people have been doing things. Yeah, maybe you could find that you are doing things in a different way and now you have to start doing things in a different manner. Okay, therefore the role of the manager and the supervisor during the change management is very, very important. Yeah, why is it important? Because they have to make sure that they communicate information about the changes, yeah, either through direct reports. Yeah, they should also be able to support or demonstrate personal effort to implement these changes. They should also be able to train employees on the changes. Yeah, if it is something that, for example, a company has decided to change certain ways of how they were doing their filing, so it is important for the employees to be trained on the new formula or on new processes that would be the new processes that will be conducted henceforth. Okay, so why is it important? Yeah, so why is it important to be able to carry out some of these changes? We say employees are not only expected of managers. Yeah, so you also need the support of the employees when you're putting these changes into effect. We also saying we have the role of the trainers. So the trainers revolve around providing information during the whole process of change, especially in situation where the changes benefit or begins to affect daily activities. We also say they are mediators. So this is a group of people who work in between the managers to be able to provide information to the subordinates, yeah, so that there is a smooth flow of information. Of course, you've got the managers are resistant, where we say nobody is closer to employees who resist change than their direct manager. So in regard to this, managers are in best position to identify resistance that occurs during their shapes, their sources of reason, etc. So we've got different ways through which we should be able to manage changes. Yeah, so we mentioned also about another way, which we say higher level managers, importance and the role of sponsors of change, introducing and supporting change. Yeah, so we always say change is an essential part of the process of continuous quality improvement in an organization. Okay, then we also talk about, these are ways through which we should be able to manage change. We say using the sample changes and sharing the results. So when you bring in changes, carry out some sampling and let people talk about their different challenges and also share the results of these changes. Then of course we got the role of management in the change, yeah, and the role of the managers and the top executive, middle managers and the supervisors. Therefore, in conclusion, we say it is important to be able to create a concrete change whereby you are able to achieve solutions that have the task of influencing the ways in which individuals or parts of an organization carry out its activities. Then we talk about work with the change management team, yeah, to ensure unity of achieving technical and human side of the change processes. Okay, so change management basically refers to ways through which, as a supervisor or as a manager, you should be able to manage change. What is the procedure? When you think about bringing out some new processes, don't just go directly into implementation. You have to follow certain protocol for you to be able to implement this change. That's now what you are referring to as change management. Okay, so then the other thing that I also want us to talk about is what we call the employee counseling. Sometimes when you're working, yeah, you might find yourself in a situation whereby you are undergoing through certain challenges. Yeah, and sometimes some of these challenges make it very difficult for you to be able to perform your duties well. So what happens? Yeah, so this is now what you're calling the counseling, employee counseling. Yeah, so it is just a part of performance review and potential appraisal, so that the employees are able to achieve their basic purpose of helping employees to improve and develop. So employee counseling, yeah, revolve around helping an employee to be able to achieve their basic purpose or your duties, helping you to be able to perform your duties so that you're able to help the organization to be able to meet its objectives. Okay, yeah, so sometimes counseling is very important. Yeah, sometimes you can be counseled on work related issues, you can be counseled on personal issues. Yeah, and this is very, very important. So we say it revolves around a discussion of an emotional problem with an employee, with the general objective of decreasing this problem. So when you share, or when employees are cancelled, they are enabled to be able, they're supposed to be helped to be able to manage their emotional problems that affect them, and therefore they're not able to perform their duties effectively. Okay, so we've been able to define the meaning of counseling. Yeah, so we've got different concepts. We've got two concepts where we say counseling deals with emotional problems, and it also involves a discussion, yeah, which is the communication, or skills, primary face to face, which a person can be shared with another. Then, of course, we have got the general objective of the counseling. So we say these are some of the reasons why it is important for us to be able to have counseling at our workplaces. Yeah, this is a way to make sure to give a new way to deal with problems. Employees are given solutions to their problems. Yeah, then they also need to know how much the employer can care for the employee. Yeah, they identify the work related problems and the poor performances. Yeah, so when we talk about counseling, we say we've got different objectives of counseling, which is stated as below. We say it is performed by both professional and non-professional. It is usually confidential. When we discuss issues to do with our employees, we should not be the same people to go and start discussing about the same. Yeah, so we've got different processes or the ingredients of counseling, where we say we've got the communication, empowering, and helping. Okay, then we said we've got the normal employee counseling, which revolve around the directive counseling, non-directive counseling, participative. So we've been able to define directive as a process of listening to an employee's problem, deciding with the employee what should be done, and telling and motivating the employee to do it. Then, of course, we got the non-directive, which is listening to the emotional problems, understand them, and determine the course of action that should be adapted. Then we got the cooperative, which is now both mutual. You agree with the employer on certain things that needs to be done. Then you've got the participative, and then we've got the desensitization. We've got the Catharas insight. Now, all those notes have been able to explain the different types of, the reasons why it is important for us to have counseling. Okay, now we've got different types of counseling. We've got different types of counseling, where we say, which now we're able to define on the other side, where we said effective counseling depends on the method and the techniques, as well as the skills that are used by the counselor. So we've got the directive counseling. So this is now where you, as an employer listens to the employee and decide what problem or what needs to be done, and you ensure that you're able to motivate the employee. Then you've got the non-directive, which is now listening to the emotional problems of an employee and determine the course of action that needs to be adapted so that they're able to resolve this problem. We've got the participative, where we say both directive and non-directive methods suffer from limitation. So we say it is a relationship that establishes a cooperative exchange of ideas to help solve an employee's problem. So it is neither wholly counselor centered nor wholly counselee centered. So it is mutual. Then we've got the desensitization, which it is an individual is shocked, his situation is looked in a particular manner. Then of course we've got the insight, the developing the new patterns, etc. So we've got the counseling process, which we're able to look at, and what these notes are telling us, it's something very simple. Okay, when you have certain problems in an organization, if you've got certain challenges that are making it difficult for you to be able to perform your duties effectively, you will need to be cancelled. Yeah, so cancelled means giving out, sharing out your challenges, yeah, different issues that affect you, that makes it difficult for you to be able to perform your duties well. Therefore, as a supervisor, you might find yourself in a situation where you might be tasked with the responsibility of counseling your subordinates or people who work under you. Therefore, you need to know how to manage this process, which is very, very important. So I've given you the definition of counseling, the different types of counseling, okay, and the processes that are required for you to be able to ensure that employees are counseled effectively. So with those few remarks, I've been able to go through the summary of the pending topics that we were left with. Okay, so basically this happens to be our last lesson on industrial organization stroke supervisory management, and so far we've been able to cover the syllabus as was required, yeah, where we were able to see the different roles of a supervisor, yeah, the characteristics, yeah, of a supervisor, what is required of a supervisor, yeah, the different skills that they need to have so that they're able to also manage the subordinate. We've also seen the how to manage conflict in organization. We were able to see the office, to be able to identify what is an office, yeah, what are the different types of office. We're also able to look at leadership, yeah, what are some of the qualities of a good leader, yeah, what are some of the leadership theories that we have, yeah, and how do some of these theory apply in the day-to-day running of the organization. Okay, so we're also able to look at change management, why change management is important and how it should be carried out in an organization. So basically, when I look at the course outline, yeah, the course outline that I had shared with you when we started this semester, yeah, so basically I'm able to see that we've been able to look at basically everything where you spoke about the sound and creative decision, what are some of the business ethics, yeah, acceptable behaviors in organization, yeah, like, you know, an employee should not lie, they should not cheat, yeah, they should not take credit for something they did not do, remember that, yeah. Then we're able to see how we manage time, yeah, time management, yeah. We're also able to see how we manage delegation. You know, delegation is whereby you delegate, you give out some of your duties to your subordinates. We've been able to look at equal employment opportunities, where we're able to define the protected groups, yeah. We've mentioned about the leadership, yeah. We've also mentioned about unions, where we said these are very important in an organization, yeah, and the different types of unions that we have in Kenya. We also spoke about ways and methods of motivating employees. You know, employees are very important and therefore they would need to be motivated. We said we've got different types of motivation, yeah. We've got different principles of motivation, yeah. How do we manage conflict and stress? We've mentioned about change management, we've mentioned about counseling and supporting employees, etc. So basically, I think we've captured what you're supposed to have captured this semester, and I'm hoping and looking forward to meeting you guys next semester, which begins in September, so that we should be able to complete the syllabus for both certificate and diploma in customer service, so that now when we resume face to face in January, we should be preparing to sit for an exam, because we would have basically finished the theory part. Maybe the only part that we'll be left with is the practical, which we can now do when we resume in January 2021, God willing. Otherwise, I want to take this opportunity to thank you very much for your time, for the support that you've accorded me during this semester. And it's been very nice, interacting with you guys, and I'm hoping and looking forward to having a very wonderful interaction in the next semester. Otherwise, thank you so much, and God bless you. Bye for now.